So I actually grew up in agriculture. I grew up on a farm. My family raises hogs. So I've been around agriculture my whole entire life. And it is the being for why I'm here. It is how I got to go to school. It is how I got my job. It's surrounded by it. When I was growing up, I started out in 4-H, and I was very involved in the 4-H chapter in Lee County. And that helped me start figuring out what I wanted to do with my life. The next step for me was FFA in high school. And so I was really big in competing in FFA. I did floriculture when I was in high school and went to the national convention, and that was a lot of fun. And I was leaving national convention and I decided that I wanted to run for state FFA office. And so I did, and I ran, and I got it. And that was a whole new chapter for me, because on that level, you meet so many different people, so many different stakeholders in the industry. And, you know, I had been involved in the agriculture industry, but I didn't really know the ties to it, and I didn't really know how much revolved around it. What I wanted to do was I wanted to work in agriculture communications. I was at a community college for 2 years, and I knew I wanted to go to NC State. And I did not get accepted the first time that I applied to NC State, and that's okay because a lot of people don't. But I knew I wanted to come here. I knew I wanted to come to the college of ag. And so I reapplied after my state FFA officer year, and I got in, and I came here, and I got a degree in agricultural science with minors in horticulture science and animal science. I decided that in order for me to do well in the communications field in agriculture, I had to get that background knowledge. And so that's what I did.
I come from a family of 5 generations of farming and agriculture. And so, you know, from the time I started walking, I found myself riding beside my dad on the tractor, my grandpa in the combine. Like, that's what I did. But what was cool was never they expected me to be at the farm. Like, that was kind of my dad and my grandpa's thing. But I loved to join along. But as I got older and I got to high school and I started taking agriculturally related classes, I became involved in the FFA. I realized that agriculture was actually truly a passion of mine. And I decided I wanted to attend North Carolina State University and make agriculture my career path. My dream was always to attend North Carolina State University. And so at the end of my senior year, when I didn't have my acceptance for the fall semester, like, I was heartbroken. But that turned out to be one of the most life-changing experiences for me, because I was invited into the inaugural STEAM program. So that's at NC State. It's the Student Transfer Enrollment Advising and Mentoring Program. And it was created specifically for students like me who come from rural counties, rural towns, and they may not have had all the opportunities in some of the metropolitan areas, but they have the passion to study agriculture and they want to be at North Carolina State University. This past summer, my junior summer, I headed 14 hours north and found myself in Moline, Illinois, interning for John Deere. I developed pre-delivery inspection forms for the construction and forestry machines. So these are basically the checklists that the dealer fills out before their customers come and pick up these very expensive machines. So to get to tour like Harvester Works, so where they make the combines, and experience that with my dad, because you knew, like, I knew he was proud of me at that point, being there where the tractors were made. Something that has been a part of him and the rest of my family for 5 generations, and me sitting there, you can't describe that feeling. I'll start my journey with Barbour crop science, and that's pretty cool.
I didn't grow up on a farm at all and didn't have many ties to agriculture. The only thing I knew was going to the pumpkin patch as a little girl and picking those out to carve them in October, or going to the farmer's market, you know, on Saturdays. And in middle school, I got invited to an FFA meeting at Grace Creek Middle, and went there and got to meet friends and learn about agriculture a little bit, learning lots of knowledge from these folks and having all these skills from FFA. I decided to run for FFA state office a few years back in 2012 and was elected as vice president. Because of those experiences, I was able to learn that I could further myself. I was able to go to NC State and receive a bachelor's in communication. So a lot of my skills and my leadership capabilities came from, you know, learning that I can be positive and learning that I have the leadership knowledge that I need to be able to be a businesswoman in today's world. I'm the events manager for the Sanford Area Growth Alliance, and through that I host the networking events. I'm the one coordinating them, getting people there, and now I'm teaching them how to network. So the irony in that is just very neat to me. Eventually my goal would be to work in agriculture, planning events of some sort. I think my perspective is a little bit different because I do see the agriculture eyes, so to speak, You know, when we look at having a farmer's market downtown here in Sanford, I see that completely different than maybe someone else in my office who do not have ties to agriculture directly. I see the true raw value of having things like that in a city and utilizing every piece of agriculture that you can.
A lot of people don't have that chance to become involved in agriculture and, you know, see that side of an industry that is essential to 3 times every day, every single day, and there's so many other aspects that is important to.
Go get involved in your 4-H, go get involved in FFA, go get involved in some kind of club in your high school, because that will build your relationships and your connections.
So we tell the story, you know, we're an FFA, this is what we do, this is why. Coming, like this generation coming up through agriculture, you know, we've grown up watching all of this wrong media and all of the, like, okay, so my hogs are going to go to slaughter. Well, instead of that, like, this generation is like, they're going to go to a processing plant where they can be processed into a meat that's going to go into the grocery store. And so I think that this generation is very concerned with
Closing the gaps almost.
closing the gap.
But we have to do it together. We have to work together. Women have to work together. Women and men have to work together. People in the agriculture industry have to work together.